All right, here I am. All right, here we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Inside Look. I'm Jeff Lyons, joined today by the director of the Indiana State Games, Holly Schneider. How you doing, Holly?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome to Inside Look. I've got 1,000 questions for you. Hope you're prepared for that.
1,001 answers.
Okay, good. Well, that's even better if you got an extra answer to pull out in there. First off, before we get into what the Indiana State Games are, what about you? Where are you from? Where'd you grow up? That sort of thing.
A lifelong West Sider.
Oh,
from
there we
here
go.
in Evansville. Yeah. Except for the 4 years in Bloomington. But I just got into the state games by chance because of my work with gerontology in college.
Okay. Now, the state games have been around quite some time, and they were called at one point the senior games or something different, right?
They've been locally, the River City Games.
Yeah.
Indiana Senior Games, but we took them over for the state games as the qualifier.
Okay. And just now, as kind of an overall view, Indiana State Games applies to athletes 50 and up, and there's a bunch of things you can do in there. I was looking through your website yesterday, and I thought, my gosh, there's all this stuff. And it goes on, and yet I guess you don't really know about it unless you're 50 or older, right? You're not tuned into that, so to speak.
Right. So as a 50-year-old, we don't see ourselves as a senior, which is why we took the word senior out, and it's Indiana State Games.
Yeah. Well, I'm over 60, and I still don't think of myself as a senior. My kids would differ on that probably just a little bit. What was the beginning of this? Like, who said, you know what, we ought to have a competition just for older, Americans, older Hoosiers?
Right. Actually, in 1986, this all started in St. Louis, Missouri, which was actually the first year Indiana started hosting as well. So this will be our 40th year to offer opportunities for 50 and older people to compete athletically.
Yeah. What, it just kind of rattle off the different sports. I saw pickleball in there.
Oh, yeah.
I was actually trying to get my wife to do this. I thought, well, this would be a good one for her. She's retired and has been playing pickleball for quite some time. That's one of many. There were track and field and just cycling, all kinds of stuff.
Right. 3 of our largest events. We also have badminton, bowling, shuffleboard, swimming, so a lot of opportunity.
Where do your typical athletes come from? In other words, they bubble up, they're either really good or they're just very interested, or is there a tryout, so to speak,
No,
like if you're going out for a team?
None of that. You don't have to try out. You don't have to have previously participated. All levels, all skills, both recreational and competitive.
I saw some videos, so it's pretty competitive.
Some can be.
Yeah.
If you're going to play pickleball, I would say be more competitive.
Yeah.
But other sports, just jump in there and try it.
Which of the events happen right here in town? And we're recording this just for context here in late April. And, of course, this will be on our website, perpetually. So just in a general term, like let's say I want to bowl. How do I go about doing that?
Most of the events in June, you have to register by June 1st, but bowling is June 15th and 16th at River City Recreation, so you can get into it up till about a week before.
I've seen your billboards out there, and I know, and of course, at the time of this recording, you've got a big trivia night coming up with Ron Eaton, and he's a subject for another podcast another day at SWRCA, and this has been a big fundraiser, of course, too.
Yes, it's grown, so now we're at our 4th location in our 4 years of hosting this event with Ron Eaton and the Maturity Journal.
Yeah, and I'm glad you got Maturity Journal in there. You always got to get all the plugs in, when we do these things. What do you think is the takeaway from these games? I mean, prior to 1986, there weren't any, and I'm sure I know it's grown since it started. People seem to be a little more interested in health and fitness these days. What plays into that?
I think that the camaraderie that people get, the socialization, it's not just about sports and athletics. Some of them are just spectators and volunteers that get involved as well. So it's a whole package just to be able to have something to look forward to, strive for, and go for that gold medal.
Yeah. So you're the director. So that means you running the show, right? So what does that entail year in, year out for you?
A lot of loss of sleep, a lot of volunteers. I have a huge volunteer group of core volunteers. We use about 250 in the year to provide these events.
Okay. Describe a typical event, like one that's coming up or one that you have to coordinate and what you do to pull it off.
Sure. So like shuffleboard, we find that key coordinator that knows the rules, all the skills, and helps me bracket that event, run the event, and we find that location to host.
I want to know the location. I haven't seen a shuffleboard court in years. I think it was at Wrights High School. Was saying it was kind of peeling
Really?
paint on a gym
Oh,
floor.
wow.
Yeah,
So yeah,
1982.
okay. Yeah, it's at Swerka, and that event is one of our first events, June 4th, and it's a rollout vinyl mat that's on the floor, and it uses silica bead that you slide across.
Interesting, because you go to Florida and there's like built-in ones. Like
Correct.
my grandmother lived in a
Yeah.
place that had them, and you couldn't walk on them or anything
That's
like
the
that.
same, yeah.
So, but there has to be a standard. There has to be, some kind of, I guess, overseer, official,
Right.
whatever, to make sure these things are on the up and up. Not that they wouldn't be, but and so, how many people would turn out, say, for shuffleboard?
60.
60 people, and of those 60, how many then might move on and up?
Probably 40 to 60%, and not everybody participates to go on to the nationals as a qualifier. Some do it just for fun.
So do you do like a bracket system, and then you work your way up?
Yeah.
And you mentioned nationals, and of course I discovered that in the research.
Yeah.
All these states have it now. So what's the relationship here in the tri-state, say with Kentucky, Illinois,
Yeah,
neighboring states?
We're an open state, so anybody can participate. As a matter of fact, we have a lot that travel. As you know, we're in that 2.5 hour trifecta from all those larger cities. And people that participate can go to the nationals if they win in the top 4 of their age group of 5 years and gender.
What's the most surprising sport out there when you go to witness it or
Javelin.
Yeah, well, so, where do you practice throwing a javelin these days?
So I hear people practice in yards, fields, that sort of thing.
So what's the gateway to javelin throwing? Like yard darts, the old ones, remember, that had the
Yeah,
metal tip,
right.
and you throw them over the house and hope it didn't kill
People
somebody?
think javelin is so dangerous, but it's a beautiful sport to watch. And it's, like a spear, but not really like a dangerous one that just glides through the air and lands mostly on the ground, not sticks.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And who would be able to be really good at that?
Actually, anyone, and women are up and coming and getting into javelin. So anyone over the age of 60 out there in the local Evansville area, there's a group that are getting together to participate. So
Yeah, and it must be a wonderful way to vent frustrations
I
with
think
life,
so,
or
yeah. I
things
haven't tried
like
that one. Yeah.
Have you ever thrown a javelin? I haven't. I've seen it done, and right now I can't even think like a typical distance for one of those things. It would be at least 50, 60 yards. Yes, or
That'd be a good throw. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Of course, I've seen it at like high school and college meets and things like that. So you have javelin, and then in track and field, I saw distance runners in there,
Right.
and sprints and so on. And again, it must be kind of fun. Are these people that maybe did it like back in high school
All
or
of the
college,
above.
or
Right. Some are just starting out new. Maybe they're getting back into running or events, throwing the discus or shot. Maybe they've never done it and meet some friends, participated in another state, heard about it, and want to join in.
Yeah. How can people find out, like if you're looking for a team, I want to be on the javelin team, or I want to be in the track team, or
Right.
whatever. I know you have a website, you have a Facebook page. I mean, that must be the obvious thing. Where do these things typically happen, though, around town?
For our track and field events, we're actually at Castle South Middle School and Castle High School. And you find out IndianaStateGames.org has all the information, and it is individual participation, even though people do get together to practice.
Yeah. And does it cost anything for people to enter or to go through?
Yes, it's very economical. It's only a $25 fee, and then you add on your sport fee.
Okay. And then you travel all over. How did you wind up being the director way down here in Evansville? It seems like the director would have to move to Indianapolis.
I get that a lot. Because we were hosting here locally for so many years for the local senior games, the Nationals caught wind of that and knew we were doing well, and we've been continuing to grow ever since as the host for the qualifier.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about this job? I mean,
All
it
the
sounds
people,
like a lot of work,
all
but yeah.
the seniors, the people, they're amazing, inspiring. I mean, we have a gentleman that's going to be 97 that comes down from Chesterton, Indiana to participate every year. So people are afraid to travel to Evansville. It takes forever, but that's not actually true. It's pretty easy to get here.
And once they come down here, they may not get back out because all the roads are, variously closed or blocked off or things
We
like
have
that.
all of our locations strategically planned for easy routes.
That's good. 97 years old. What does he do?
He's a runner. He distance runs and does the shorts, the sprints as well.
He sprints.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That has to be
He
very
pace-
unusual that a
it is.
97-year-old would sprint.
He paces himself.
Okay. Well, I mean that you're entitled to that. Once you pass 95, you can do whatever you
Your
want in
sprint
life,
might be
right?
more of a jog, but it's still your own race.
Yeah. When you took this on
Mhm.
in the beginning, why did you? Like, did somebody just say, "Hey, come over here, we're going to have you do this," or did you apply, or did you work your way up in the organization, or how did you wind up running the show?
I think I just got lucky. I saw the vision and what it could be to expand it and grow for our community in Evansville to be the host site for the whole state of Indiana. It's just an honor to have it down here in our hometown, and I just want to see it do better.
Yeah. You've been involved with fitness. What did you study at IU? I've been to circle
Sure.
around and ask that. I think I know. I've been told, but you go ahead
No,
and talk about your time at IU a little bit.
yeah, I graduated as a recreation therapist. I went
Okay.
to do physical therapy, but apparently you have to do wound treatments, and I had a little queasy feeling about that, so I
So, a
changed my major.
recreational therapy
Mhm.
degree, and that involves what?
Glorified programming, so
Yeah.
providing that quality of life opportunity for people in whatever setting they may live in or need some rehab.
And what caused you to go to that? Like, did you go in intending to do that, or were you going in with one idea and you came out that way?
I wanted to be the physical therapist and provide that, pain to those people to get better, but no,
Hmm.
I wasn't able to do that. So I went into it's glorified programming, like I said, so I can expand and provide a lot of opportunities for people to have a very nice quality of life.
Yeah. What's the best kept secret about Indiana State Games and programs for seniors just all over here in the tri-state?
The whole package, just getting involved at some level as a spectator, volunteer, or participant of someone age 50 and over, the people you meet, what you get to see, it's just a wonderful experience and opportunity.
And everybody's got a story,
Everybody.
and in that group, many stories,
Mhm.
many lives perhaps behind them. Anything else that you want to throw in there for Indiana State Games and the Holly Schneider experience?
We're just excited to be able to host for 40 years for our state of Indiana and continue to grow. We were at about 1,220 athletes for our last qualifying year, so I expect we'll go beyond that this year.
Yeah, well, best of luck to you. I appreciate you coming out
you.
here. Did you run or did you actually just drive up the hill?
We ran all the way up that hill.
There you go. Okay, you might as well get those steps in if you're
Yeah,
going to be
definitely.
here on the west side. And you must have gone to Wrights then or
Mater
Day.
Dei.
Oh, you were a Mater Day
Yeah.
person. Okay, therein lies. I'm thinking Schneider. Of course, that wasn't your name
Right.
before, but we won't go down memory lane here. We'll leave that for later. Holly, thanks so
Thanks
much
for
for coming
having
out. Good luck with the senior games, and thanks so much.
Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
With Holly Schneider, the director of the Indiana State Games, I'm Jeff Lyons here on Inside Look. If you'd like to listen to all the Inside Look podcasts, you can do that wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch on the 14 News YouTube channel. With Holly Schneider, I'm Jeff Lyons. Thanks for joining.